All right, guys, I talked a couple of episodes back about the SMZs. You know, when we were in that, I was in that clear cut. I sort of just pointed and I said, you know, that's where they leave a patch of woods, 20, 30 yards, feet, whatever, on each side of a creek as a stream management zone, or SMZ. And that can be a route of buck travel. If you look at, this is the one that I was actually pointing at that day. And if you look, it's not a huge stream, okay? You can see it's a little creek that goes down through there. Oops, I don't fall. And by the way, these Chippewa boots, it turns out they are waterproof. So there you go. Well, there's another one for you guys right there. Because I just stepped off in a hole, and if it wouldn't have been waterproof, I would have known pretty quick. At least they're waterproof today. Now, as they break in, they may not be. But anyway, take a look through here. So you got clear cut over there. You've got clear cut over there. You got this stream management zone right here. I'm going to turn around if I don't fall doing it. I'm standing in a little small creek. You got stream management zone on both sides. I'm sorry, clear cut on both sides, and then you got your stream management zone. Now you think about a buck traveling. Bucks like cover. So take a look at what we got. We got cover. They've got an area that they can filter through here. So this is something to think about, when hunting season starts, especially during the rut. Because, we've got this field, it'll be planted. It's already got clover in it now. There's does that come in there. There's probably bucks in there now. But those deer come to this field, the does will be here. The bucks will be coming through here. And most likely they're going to come right up this SMZ. I would be willing to bet that your bigger bucks are going to use this as cover. And so now I'm not trying to narrow down the whole property. I'm narrowing down a 20-yard section of the property, a vein that runs through the property. So when you're setting up on this, plus you've got, granted this is a very small creek, you're probably not getting a huge thermal pull from it. But that is something else to think about, is your thermals are going to be kind of going with that creek. So your scent's going to have a tendency to travel that way, especially in bigger creeks. Again, this may be a little more insignificant with us as far as that. But you do have a travel route right here, a potential travel route. I can't guarantee it, but I have hunted this field before, or this gas line, and I've seen deer come out right there. I've seen bucks come out right there. Nothing to shoot at, granted, but definitely seen bucks, pop out in this area before. So it's something to think about. Like I said, if you're not familiar with the whole idea, a lot of people get discouraged whenever they see the timber companies come in there and clear cut your property. That's not always a bad thing. And you got to think about it. And as I say that, the buck track right there. So as I say that, it came up on a track. So a lot of people get frustrated with the timber companies for clear cutting. Number one, it's their property. It's hard to blame them. But number two, the pine beetles were really bad this year. I've already talked to one of the landowners, and they were either forced with, hey, we're going to lose our pines, or we can go ahead and harvest them, the ones that are salvageable, and replant. And that's what they chose to do. You can't blame them. They're going to lose their property one way or the other. And so instead of having just dead trees everywhere, they went ahead and harvested them. Not always the best thing for the hunter, but like I said, because this particular landowner, with the clear cut, and we've got our stream management zones, these bucks are going to travel this. I promise you they are. This will be a good spot to be watching during the rut. And you can look at it from that hillside over there. You can watch it from over there, depending on what wind. And so that this is going to funnel deer. It's going to. Those bucks will use this as a travel route. They've got plenty of cover. They can slip into these fields, do scent checks for does. And you may still catch them out in the clear cut, one that's kind of crazy, that's, rutted up, and he's just got one thing on his mind. But, a lot of these bucks, especially the more mature bucks, they're going to come through here. I've got full confidence now. This will be a good place to hunt. All right, guys, back in a few. Now this field right here, need I say again about snake boots? If you look at what I'm walking in right now, you need them. You're out scouting this time of year. And I'm mainly just going through fields and looking for tracks. I can see where deer have walked through here, or something's walked through here pretty regular. I guess it's just deer. You can see where something where they've been browsing a good bit. But there's clover embedded in this ground right here, and then there's other things for them to sort of browse on. and that's what they're doing. Now, I could put this on one of the trees over here, but I would rather put it in the middle of this field, shooting back toward that elevated stand over there, and catch all these deer that just may be crossing this. So I'm going to back it up just a few feet to about right there, and that's where these little stands come in handy, because they're adjustable. I can make them a little bit higher and kind of shoot over some of this grass, and we'll catch these bucks traveling back and forth. This is just a beautiful spot. This field right here has traditionally carried a lot of good bucks. Last year I didn't really see a whole lot in it, but this is where Joshua killed he killed a pretty nice 8-point in here. And the day that he killed his 8 with a crossbow, and this has been several, I think he was 7 when this happened. He'll be 12 this year. So, but that day it was one of the craziest hunts I've ever been on. We had I think it was 7 rack bucks, and I don't mean small rack bucks. They were all like shooters. And I had told Joshua that particular day, I said, "You've never killed a buck before. You know what? I'm going to let you shoot one." And boy, did I regret that one pretty quick. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm glad he got it, but it was a super nice buck. Got a nice 8. I don't think it was the biggest deer in the field that day, but it was one of the biggest. It was a 4.5-year-old 8-point, and it was really good size, really good one to get. I told him he's spoiled. But this field always has that potential. There's a lot of our bigger deer, especially in the summertime, like this part of our property. And I really don't know what's, I guess, different. I don't know if it's more water sources. They feel like they're more covered. I mean, the property almost looks identical to the other parts where we've been placing cameras, but typically we see more deer on this side. Now, this is the side where we can use corn, but really in the summertime I don't use a whole lot of corn. Like, you see a feeder, I don't know if you can see that feeder over there. It's not activated right now, and I don't have anything on the ground. You just see, if you look, you can see this clover everywhere. And you can see where they kind of eat this all down. So I'm gonna put a camera here and just see if there's any of those bucks. I haven't had any cameras on this part of the property since last season, so it could be pretty interesting. Unfortunately, guys, I'm not probably going to show a whole lot of the pics. If I do get if I get a really good buck on this camera, I'll show you post-season, or I'll show you a picture of me hunting it if I get it. But anyway, just wanted to show you this one, and just more scouting. Back in a few. Well, that's the last camera right there. That feeder doesn't have any corn in it yet, but a pretty good field. I shot a nice, the second biggest buck I ever killed was out of this field. It was about 147-inch 10-point. So there's deer over here. Hope I can find it. Don't see many deer like that, but got him. Hey guys, thanks for watching 205 Outdoors. Today I'm going to be doing a little work around the club. I'm going to be out here, got a couple of trees crossing the road. I'm going to try to get them removed and open up some more access and kind of get rid of some low-hanging limbs and things. But I decided to get out here super early this morning. It's just after daybreak. I'm going to do some scouting in this clear cut that I showed y'all a couple of weeks ago. I've got some bucks that came in overnight, and I'm going to see if I can see that actual bachelor group. I've got my binos with me. I'm fixing to get out and walk up and just sort of scan this clear cut real good and see if I can, see some of those good bucks. But anyway, guys, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. By the way, guys, these Chippewa boots, in my opinion, the most comfortable snake boot I've ever put on. These things are just, they feel like perfect. Now that I've been walking in them and stuff, and they're not even close to being broke in. So I know I've got 2 deer feeding right over in there, coming out of that SMZ. They're feeding up the hill. But those bucks were over here last night, so hopefully I can, somewhere over in there, hopefully I can see some of them. I don't know, just scanning. Again, all these deer are so far away that I don't know if y'all be able to see them or not, but I've got a mom and babies. Mom and her phones. So I'm going to hold the camera up and point so that I'll know to zoom straight over there on that hillside, about 20 or 30 yards into the clear cut. It's 2 or 3. It looks like a mom and a couple of babies. All right, so the bucks that came through last night, I'm not going to focus on the size of the buck. I'll show the picture of it right here. But I'm going to show you the camera and show you a couple of things that made me put a camera here. And it really took a couple of days. But if you see all this clover, this is you know, the hunting club pod. When I was talking about, you know, hunting clubs, you know, look at what what a club is planting. This stuff right here is feeding them all summer too. I mean, this stuff, they're hammering this stuff. All this clover coming up, all this browse. But like I talked about, you know, they've made this clear cut. There's my camera right there. So this buck walked into this field. I don't know if he was just feeding or he just happened to look up and see the camera, but he almost stuck his head in my camera. So he stood right here. He stood right here. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this camera off. I'm moving it today. Like I said, it doesn't matter if I get deer or not. And that buck's really, I don't think he's a shooter, but it just kind of shows that, you know, that this is the stuff to kind of look for. You saw this thick stuff, you got a whole clear cut. And you know, I glassed this morning with binoculars. I saw several doe groups all up in this clear cut, was watching them. I never saw a buck. I suspect all my bucks are going through here. This is that SMZ that I keep pointing out. I told you it's probably a travel route. All the does are using it too, by the way. But you know, they can stay pretty well hid. If you know, if you're up on that hilltop, you're not going to see them hardly. No, in the rut, by the time the rut gets here, it'll thin out. Some of this greenery will die off. I mean, you'll be able to see them a little bit better, but that's going to be their main source of cover as a travel route. So yeah, it's just things to think about on your property. You know, when you're scouting. And again, I'm not hunting this in bow season. This is not for me to hunt in bow season. I don't think I would fare too well in bow season right here. I mean, there may be bucks coming through here, but I don't think it would be super beneficial. This is rut. This is something I want to look at for the rut. I've got these doe groups that are using this as a funnel. Those bucks are going to come through here scent checking. They're going to come through here. Now, they may do a lot of it at night, but they'll be coming through in the daytime too. This is where you kill a big buck. I'm not saying I will kill one here, but you better believe that shooting house right there, I'm getting in it during the rut. I will hunt this field several times, and I guarantee you, you will see videos. I'll put it on the YouTube. There will be bucks come out here. Now they may not be shooters. They may not meet our trophy class. This is trophy part of our property. But I've never hunted this during the rut and not seen bucks. All morning you'll see, you know, at least, you know, smaller. And when I say our trophy criteria, right? So, you know, I talked about it on the podcast. Some of the bucks that I've had step out in front of me, most people would probably shoot, but it's 2 and 3 year old 8 points. And, you know, if you watch them for a minute and you look at them, you can tell it's a 2 or 3 year old deer, but it's still, you know, outside the ears and things that people look for. But our criteria is 170 plus pounds, or 4.5 years old, or 120 plus inch rack. And if it doesn't meet one of those criteria, just keep your safety on. Unless you do like I did last year. I mismarked one. It was running through a clear cut chasing a doe. I was up in a tree and it was about 200 yards away from me, and I shot him. So it happens. But if they walk out in here and they're standing there looking at you, you get a little bit more time. But you can see where the deer would funnel through. I mean, this is thick, and then you have wide open clear cut, and then you've got this vein of just thickness right through here. This is where they're going to go. They're going to cross right here. And like the picture last night showed, those bucks are going to travel. Every one of those does, well, at least on this side of that road that I was watching this morning, were following this tree line right here. That's where they were feeding at. The one that was eyeballing me was standing right over there, and I thought she was eyeballing me. I don't know what. started walking like nothing was wrong, so maybe she didn't see me. I thought she saw me though. She was locked in on me. And here's something else. I'm just making my way, just trying to run any potential snakes out. But I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, just to drive this point home. If you guys that are experienced deer hunters, this is nothing new to you. But look at this. Look at this little. This is normally this carries water in it. It's a creek bottom. If you can see, just there's tracks, buck tracks. There's tracks everywhere because they're walking this. I mean, you know, you can. I keep saying it, but you know, this is one of those things that I didn't catch when I first started hunting. And I know that, you know, like I said, experienced hunters keep scrolling. I get it, but people that don't know this, you know, bucks like to be in cover. This is cover, and then you've got this giant clear cut. So, like I said, whenever they come and clear cut part of your property, start looking at what they didn't clear cut and seeing why. And this, again, this is normally it's dry. We're in this little bit dry the last couple of weeks, but normally this is holding water. And I'll share the video where I was actually standing in water right here like 2 weeks ago. A little bit of water, but it's a runoff, creek channel or whatever. Anyway, just thought I'd show that to you guys, and I'll show you a picture of that buck. He's definitely not a, you know, huge deer or anything, but it's more the point of they'll be coming through here. Back in a few. I'll zoom as far as I can. Those are big deer. Those are both really big deer. Ooh. Hey guys, so pretty productive day today. Some of it I didn't really put on the podcast. I'm going to combine. So I was out here, I think it was last week, and I moved trail cameras. I'm going to really combine those two videos really together, because it was kind of short. Wasn't really a whole lot to either one of them. Right now I'm just moving cameras. I'm looking for bucks. Today I did come up on two really nice bucks. They were definitely shooters. And they were, of course, 300 plus yards away from me, so I was watching them with binoculars. I really couldn't get a good picture of them, but I did put a cell camera over there where they were, so hopefully we'll get some pictures of them soon. But anyway, thanks for watching 205 Outdoors, and don't forget to listen to 205 Outdoors podcast. Thanks, guys.